"Is this your card?" the magician asked, holding the volunteer's signed ace of hearts. "Yeah," the man yelled in surprise. "Of course it is," the magician joked. "And in your shock, you might be wondering how the card was removed from your shirt pocket. Would you do me a favor and see what has now taken its place?" Sure." The man unbuttoned his pocket and pulled out cash. "It's a $100 bill." "Yes, sir. And now it's yours. That's for being such a fantastic assistant." With that, the magician gestured back to the man's seat. The crowd clapped, the man gleefully holding his reward in the air for his friends to see. The magician allowed the applause to die before continuing. He smiled mischievously. "With that being said, I ask for one more volunteer." Hands shot up in the air immediately, including mine. "Don't expect to get picked," Brian grumbled. "The other guy's probably just a plant." I glared at him briefly, annoyed, before looking back. The magician was no longer smiling, instead staring daggers at my friend. Somehow, from the front of the room, he seemed to have heard what Brian said. "Sir," he called out to Brian, "I believe you would be the perfect assistant. Please come to the stage." The audience began to clap, and after rolling his eyes at me, Brian relented. As my friend reached the stage, the smile slowly returned to the magician's face. "Well then, let us speak about skepticism. This man, as you may have overheard, does not believe in magic." The magician placed a hand on Brian's shoulder and the crowd began to boo. I joined in. Now, it's perfectly reasonable to have such doubts about my abilities. Most magicians are simply flamboyant con men, using sleight of hand or rigged variables to present something that mystifies believers and challenges non-believers' abilities to see past the ruse. I, however, am no con man. The magician took his large hat and held it towards the audience, spinning it around. "As you can see, this is a normal hat. No rigged variables, of course, and certainly no rabbit. Sir, what is your name?" "Brian." "Take this hat for me, Brian. Look closely at it and make sure it seems completely normal. No gears, no wires, nothing out of the ordinary." Brian looked over the hat, turning it in his hands. "Seems normal to me." "Hold the hat out, sir, with the opening pointed towards me." Brian did as instructed. My previous trick was the switching of a card and a $100 bill from across the stage, the magician said, holding up a signed playing card. "And for my next trick, I will exchange this card for something almost as valuable as money." The magician reached into the hat with the hand holding the card. As he pulled his hand out, Brian collapsed. The magician held his hands up. The card had been replaced by Brian's still beating heart.